Today on the website Japan Today was the headline that over 100,000 foreign visitors came to Japan in the month of July for the fourth month in a row. That meant that 400,000 foreign visitors have come to Japan in the last 4 months. Anyone not knowing the details and the underlying situation would probably conclude that Japan is really opening up its borders and allowing tourists into Japan. But as they say, the devil is in the details. Hi, I'm Mike Matsuno, and this is the Man in Japan channel. On this channel, we talk about news and stories about what is happening in Japan. If this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in Japan, please hit that like button and subscribe. I think the website Japan Today used a misleading word in their title. They said foreign visitors. Actually, the majority of the 100,000 per month foreigners who entered Japan were for technical intern trainees, specified skill workers, various internships, international students, and business people who were mainly from Southeast Asian countries. But most were not tourists. My personal definition of foreign visitors would be tourists, travelers, and visitors who come to Japan for sightseeing on a tourist visa. So I think Japan Today should not have written the words foreign visitors, but should have used foreign entries into Japan. In June 2022, only 252 overseas tourists came on group package tours to Japan. Last month in July, it increased to 7,900 tourists, which may seem like a lot compared to the previous June, but please remember, in 2019, before the COVID pandemic, Japan had about 31 million foreign tourists a year, which averages out to about 2.5 million tourists a month, which makes 8,000 tourists look like a grain of sand on the wide open beach. In the last 2 months, 8,000 foreign tourists and travelers came to Japan for sightseeing on a tourist visa on a group package tour. This would only be about 4% of the total number of 200,000 foreign entries into Japan for June and July. The Japan Tourist Agency said that 8,500 tourists have applied for a tourist visa for this month, August 2022. Although the yen is very weak and was at 135 per dollar today, foreign tourists who want to come and take advantage of the weekend yen are unable to unless they come on group package tours, which the majority of people who want to visit Japan do not want to be part of. I have not seen any foreign group package tours at airports or around Japan, but 2 weeks ago in Hokkaido at the new Chitose airport, I saw 2 groups of group package tours and the tourists were Japanese. The Japanese, especially older Japanese and families, even while traveling in Japan, still feel very comfortable and enjoy going on group package tours. That is why, although there has been a lot of pushback against group package tours from people outside of Japan, for many Japanese, and this may be cultural, going somewhere on a group package tour is usually a matter of choice. So it is possible that the group package tour entry policy that Prime Minister Kishida finally decided on may have been decided through a cultural lens point of view, meaning that the Prime Minister and others in the government may have actually thought that people outside of Japan, just like many Japanese, would be fine on visiting Japan on a group package tour. The reason being that many Japanese who travel domestically as well as on overseas trips like for honeymoons and family trips feel very comfortable and at ease going on a group package tour where everything is set and planned for you. It may have been a complete cultural misconception and faulty assumption that non-Japanese tourists would also enjoy coming to Japan on group package tours. I don't know. Remember, Japan is still an island nation and historically has always been quite isolated, where the mindset is sometimes still culturally unique in certain aspects. And if this is true, then it explains why Prime Minister Kishida's policy to open up Japan has basically failed so far. And with the tourist applicants numbers for August only at 8,500, it does not look promising for the near future that the current policy of only allowing in group package tours is going to suddenly change or greatly increase. Whether the complaints about group package tours are the higher cost, the lack of free time, and or the tight and set touring schedule, many tourists, especially most younger and Western tourists, will not come to Japan until they can travel independently. Here are some recent news clips which give the updated status of the tourism industry after Japan opened up the group package tours 2 months ago on June 10th. Rural areas in Japan are not doing very well. Many people know of Hida Takayama and Shirakawa-go in Gifu Prefecture. Before COVID, 600,000 tourists used to come to visit Hida Takayama, which is nicknamed Little Kyoto. People living here also had big expectations for the reopening of Japan on June 10th. However, if you look at the main streets of Hida Takayama, you can see here that there's very little activity and things are very quiet. This is a tour company in Hida Takayama who offers optional tours for foreign tourists. A popular tour is the downtown walking tour around the old parts of the town. 2 months have passed and the tourists have not come back. The owner had a reservation for 30 Australian tourists for next month, but this tour was suddenly cancelled. Many people say that the cost of group package tours are too expensive and they will wait until Japan opens up to travel again independently. They are having a very tough time at this 290-room hotel. Before COVID-19, they averaged about 50,000 guests per year. They too had big expectations when Prime Minister Kishida announced Japan would open up to group package tours. But recently, many reservations have been cancelled. This month, they had 100 guests cancelled before August 8. From September to March 2022, they have 60% of the reservations that they had before COVID. But since everything is always changing and uncertain, it is hard to say if these guests will actually come. The hotel manager thinks that things really won't change until next February 2023. To demonstrate the importance of foreign tourists, this hotel has recently invested in putting in king-size beds, which are very rare in Japan. They also added a dining room sitting area so people could eat privately in their rooms, along with a new microwave oven and a large-size refrigerator. There were only 8,000 tourists and visitors who came to Japan in July. Back in May, there was a fam trip for overseas tour coordinators and travel agents who came to Japan in small groups to test out the new policy of group tours, as well as the government and local areas wanted to showcase Japan and their area to bring tourists back to Japan. Nadine Shimabukuro, who is a travel coordinator in Hawaii and participated on the fam group tour, said she was creating tour trips to visit Japan, but recently over 100 people have canceled their trip to Japan. The reporter asked her what people from Hawaii and the US think about the soaring numbers of the coronavirus in Japan. Nadine said that they do not worry about that at all. They may talk about it, but they are not afraid of COVID-19. Nadine said the new visa requirement is the biggest problem for Americans in other countries who prior to the coronavirus had arrived in Japan without a visa or were given a visa on arrival. Now that they have to get a tourist visa, it just makes returning to Japan that much harder. For example, you have to take a photo and the visa application to the consulate or embassy, and then 2 weeks later go and pick it up. In Tokyo, this was a popular place for foreign visitors to stay, but today there are only 2 foreigners sitting who are having breakfast. Both of them have come to study Japanese in Japan. They're not tourists. In the past, pre-COVID, this hotel was very popular for international students who would come to study Japanese on short-term summer and winter programs, along with independent tourists and travelers. These short-term student numbers are gradually increasing, but there are no tourists. This hotel used to average a 90% occupancy rate, and 80% of the 90% occupancy were foreign students and tourists. Presently, the hotel is running at about 40% occupancy with only 10 to 20% foreign guests. Back in May 2022, the manager of this hotel was excited and expected a lot of guests because of the June 10th announcement that Japan would reopen up to group package tours. But the group package tours did not come, nor did the government's entry requirements change, and so all of his big hopes disappeared. The Japanese government has set strict guidelines for group package tourists where there is very limited free time. You can only venture out freely in specific areas, which is decided by the tour conductor. And at the end of the day, after a full day of touring, you can go out to eat at nearby restaurants on your own, which are close to the hotel, but no other sightseeing or venturing out is permitted. And of course, you must have travel insurance in the case you contract COVID-19. This group has come from Italy and is diligently following the guidelines in Japan. Although in Italy most people take off their mask outside, in Japan the tour conductor has asked everyone to wear their mask at all times. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of the video and you enjoyed the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I really would appreciate if you would subscribe because it really helps motivate me to make more videos and to keep going. Until next time, arigato.